Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your businesses to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at comed.com/clean. Hi.
Hello.
It's Friday. It's Greg Boyson. It's Mario Terabasi. It's the last day of the bye-week All-Star break.
Anything happening?
Boy, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the fine folks at IDOT for deciding to take 3 lanes of the Edens down the 1 lane to repave roads in the middle of the effing day. That sounds like something that should be done at 3 o'clock in the morning, but what do I know?
Yeah.
Sounds like the opposite of an ad read you just did there.
Well, yeah, it is the opposite.
Shout out to IDOT for sucking today.
Yeah, shout out for IDOT for ruining my day.
Bunch of idiots.
I hope you get asphalt on your shoes and it never comes off.
Yeah, I was lucky enough that I've done the drive-in here so many times that, I don't need the GPS, but sometimes I just throw it on just to make sure I have, the ETA and make sure if anything pops up that it'll reroute me. And luckily I had it on today because I was driving in before I got all to that traffic stall. It like rerouted me and it was like 25 minutes faster. I was like, whoa, what the hell just happened?
I didn't catch the reroute until I was already getting on the exit because I guess it told me to avoid my exit and go another way. And I was like, I think I just imagined that. And then all of a sudden the ETA went up by minutes and I was like, all right.
Yeah, that happens.
Fun times. But anywho, we're all here. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button while you're here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Give us those 5-star reviews on all your favorite podcast outlets. Become a diehard if you haven't either. That's always a good time. We got some new diehards. We're killing it in the diehard department the last few weeks. We even got more today, so I just want to welcome in Bradley, Kevin, Jim, Brandon, Charles, Eric, Michael, and Genesis. Ooh, is that Sega Genesis or the band Genesis? That'd be so cool if Phil Collins was now a diehard. But hey,
maybe we could use their music.
Thanks for all of you guys for signing up and becoming a diehard. We really do appreciate it. So, what should we start with? We've got so much to talk about. Maybe we should start off with the things that actually affect or could affect the Blackhawks.
Sure.
And that's
the biggest development of the last 24 hours in the NHL world. They're heading back to the Olympics in 2026 and 2030. The 2026 are in Italy and 2030 are in France. So that'll be nice little vacations for those guys who eventually play for their representative countries. And I said it on Twitter and I said it here in the office. If you're going to ask about which Blackhawks could potentially play in the 2030 Olympics, all of them could potentially do it. That is 6 years away, and there are players that haven't played in the NHL yet that people are going to ask us about. I already know it's coming. So beyond Connor Bedard, all of them have a chance.
Yes, they all do. Technically, you are correct. Yes, so the Olympics coming back 2026.
That's awesome. It has been way too long for the NHL and the men's game to have a best-on-best representation in the Olympics. I know it's disruptive to the season, all that, but I think back to watching, the 2010 and 2014 tournaments and thinking like, what other tournament do you get these best players all playing at the same time? And Stanley Cup playoff hockey is amazing in and of its own right, but in the Olympics, it is the best rosters that you can think of all playing at the same time.
Yeah, while I love the tournament, I really wish it wasn't in the middle of the season. That's my only con about the Olympics. Like, My two like alternatives to that is like put ice hockey in the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, but all those guys are out of season then.
Tough. You want to represent your company, stay in season, or have your own NHL-led World Cup of hockey.
Yeah,
with all those countries in September.
With all the countries.
Right.
That
Not
is,
this garbage that they're coming up with next year. That's lame. I'm sorry.
Four nations face off.
Anywho, the Olympics. Why do you need to involve the Olympics, the IIHF? There's just more people with their hands out looking for to get money off of this. The NHL should do it in NHL rinks with NHL players every 2 or 3 years in September, like right when training camp's getting underway.
Sure.
So it doesn't affect your season. And those guys that are going to be playing in the tournament don't exactly play in a ton of preseason games anyway. They'll be in game shape, ready to go when the season starts.
Yeah.
It doesn't shut down your league for 3 weeks in the middle of the league, in the middle of the season. That's my only I love, now when it gets here and I'm watching the games, I'm going to be all about it. It's going to be amazing.
Right.
Great hockey. I just wish it wasn't at the sacrifice of 3 weeks of the regular season.
Well, I feel like maybe my memory is a little off, but they don't take the entire Olympic duration of the Olympics off. It's just the amount of time it takes to get the hockey done, which is still 2 weeks.
Right, but you got to give them time before, time out. It comes out to like 20 to like 22 days.
Sure.
So it's a long time for all the rest of the players to sit around. I mean, I'm sure they'll still be practicing and all that stuff, but for everybody to not play a game for 3 weeks, it's a lot. I mean, thankfully it only happens every 4 years.
Right. Yeah.
But
and you do lose an All-Star game, but I mean, the All-Star game is like you lose one every 4 years. That's fine.
Well, apparently it's going to be more because we're losing one next year, the next 2 years. So there will not be another All-Star game until 2027.
No. What did I see? It said there would be potentially a All-Star game to be like a lead-in to the Olympic break in 2026.
Elliot Friedman says no All-Star game next season.
Next season, yes.
That's what I mean. So next season's 2025, and then the Olympics is in 2026.
So there would what it sounds like is that in those Olympic years they would still have the All-Star game, but it would be like All-Star weekend, and then they go to the Olympics. So you might have a whole month of hockey off. All of February, no hockey.
That's just I'm
no
sorry.
NHL.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I do not like it.
I feel like if you're gonna do that, where it's like here's the All-Star week or weekend or whatever it is as a break, and then you go to the Olympic break. If you're gonna do that, you have to resume the season before it's a 3.5, 4 week break. Like if you resume the season like a week before the Olympics are over and those teams just don't have those players, I mean, tough. You can make it up. It's fine. International soccer does that all the time for, the in-season tournaments like the Euros or, the international tournaments like that. They'll go and play internationally and the clubs will continue. Like you could do that if you ask NHL teams, hey, for 2-3 games, can you operate without 1 or 2 or 3 of your best players? I think you can do that. Just so you're not, because think about how much you would be missing of time and how condensed you're making the rest of the season. So I would think the clubs would be like, yeah, let's get back to getting some ticket money here. We don't want to take a whole month of February off, have no games whatsoever.
Yeah, but if you're one of those teams that, so many teams are within a point or two of the wild card and you lose 2 or 3 games because your best player isn't there.
Sure.
You have a gripe. It's just, I don't know. It's intrusive. I know it's only every 4 years. I just wish there was a way to avoid shutting down a season. But
I liked the way that the World Cup of Hockey in 2016 worked, where it was
August
it was the lead into. Or it happened when training camp was starting because some of those guys weren't in training camp when it started because the tournament was going on. I like that. I think that's fine. But I think having it be involved with the Olympics puts it at a different stage. You can have your own best on best tournament that's under the NHL control, which it seems like this Four Nations face-off, which I hope expands and isn't only Canada, U.S., Finland, and Sweden every time. I hope that they modify that as time goes on.
I would hope so, because that's kind of lame.
Yeah. You could still have that control, but having it be the Olympics, having it be the expansive involvement that the Olympics is, the prestige that it is, the amount of people that watch the Olympics is there are people who don't watch hockey, wouldn't watch the Four Nations face-off, but you say, oh, hockey on the Olympics, they're going to tune in. And I think that that's where the league really does benefit from being involved at that international level, because there are people that, I remember packing, 30 people into me and my best friend's dorm room in 2010 watching the Olympics. And we didn't have, there are people that I remember at that time frame that still like hockey because that was like their introduction, those games against Canada and the US and everything. So I think there is something to be said to being on that stage, having that exposure and having it be a benefit to the league. And the guys love it. I mean, look at what Connor McDavid has been saying today as after the announcement was made official. It's for the best player in the world to be like, it's a dream come true to be able to have this opportunity to play for Canada at the Olympics. Like, you have to listen to that, and that has credence.
He's going to have fun being the second line center for Canada. Clout says, if Edmonton lost McDavid and Leon, that team would be bums, in my opinion. You're not wrong, but don't forget, when the 2026 Olympics comes around, Leon Draisaitl is going to be a Blackhawk somewhere. So,
yes, that is true.
Yes, got to keep that in mind. It'd be affecting the Blackhawks more than the Oilers, because it will be Connor and Leon in the Olympics, but Bedard and Draisaitl.
Oh, that's
McDavid.
funny.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anywho, the other announcement was the Four Nations face-off, as we've already mentioned. Here's the official rundown. This is per the NHL.
Very interesting.
All games in the 2025 NHL Four Nations face-off will be played in accordance to NHL rules. I believe Boston and Montreal are going to be the sites for these games. Each team will play a three tournament games in a traditional round-robin format under the following point system: 3 points for a win in regulation, 2 points for a win overtime shootout, 1 point for a loss in overtime shootout, 0 points for a loss in regulation. Those aren't NHL rules.
The introduction of the 3-point system.
There's something else coming too.
Oh, baby.
2 teams with the best tournament record will then advance to a 1-game final. The overtime format for the round-robin games will be 3-on-3 sudden death for a 10-minute period. Again,
oh, yes.
Not NHL rule yet.
Yes.
Followed by a 3-round shootout.
Experiment with all your new rules.
Love it. The overtime format for the 1-games final will be full-strength sudden death through successive 20-minute periods until one team scores. And, of course, those 4 teams are United States, Canada, Sweden, Finland, where the majority of your top stars are coming from, but you're leaving out
percentage-wise, yes, but you're leaving a lot of really good players out.
No Russian team. I mean, who knows what happens between now and 2026? As of now, I don't think.
Well, it's 2025. It'll be next year,
right? But I mean, for the Olympics,
the Olympics, I don't know.
Like, a lot can change between now and then.
Yeah,
but I mean, if the Olympics are going to happen this year, there would be no Russia, and that's a lot of talent you're not having in the tournament. So we'll see. I do like, that they're trying some things here. The 3-point system, the 10-minute overtime. Maybe they're foreshadowing that that's coming to the NHL.
Try it out.
I would love both of those things.
See how it goes. Wasn't in Major League Baseball, the pitch clock was a spring training thing only before it became an actual thing, right?
Try it out.
I think they tried it in the minor leagues as well.
Minor leagues too. Yeah.
So
and the AHL they had the 3-on-3 OT first before the NHL. Right. Did they not?
I believe that is true. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not unprecedented for.
Give it a whirl. See how people like it.
Try it out. See what happens. And yeah, I think there's been a lot of people that have been calling for change to not only overtime but also the point system. So the NHL, try it out. See what happens. See how people like it.
Elliot Friedman also says the desire is for a full World Cup in 2028 and 2032. So that means
that'd be nice.
Every 2 years we're having a major international tournament with the NHL stars.
I love it.
As long as that World Cup isn't in the middle of the effing season. Like
if you could do the World Cup
in the
summer,
that's pause your season every other year for a month, I don't care. I don't care who's got the best player. I don't anymore. I want to watch NHL hockey in February.
I
not every other year.
I don't know. I would love it. Maybe as I get older, I would start hating it more, but I don't know.
You call me a crabby old man?
No,
because you're not wrong.
No, never. Yeah, I mean,
get off my lawn.
If this Four Nations face-off / World Cup would be in the summer or like September or whatever, I'm fine with that. Yeah, but I agree. If you were to do that in February too, every 2 years between the Olympics, pausing your season that often would be pretty disruptive. But if it becomes the norm, then you're just like, all right, whatever. Like, I think you would get used to it. But if it's in the summer, gives you something to like. If you made the World Cup, let's just call it the World Cup. If you made it that like your lead into the season every time it came around, I think that would be a lot of fun. And then the Olympics is your middle of the season break. And both of them would feel different and special in their own way. So, I'm all for it. The more best men's players in the world playing on an international stage hockey that you can give me, the better. World Championships doesn't do it for me. World Junior Championships, that's fun, but they're all teenagers, so it's like, get the best players that play in the best league out there against each other.
Yeah, the World Championships is lame.
It means more. It means more to the overseas countries than it does to U.S. and Canada.
Their best players are there. Like,
all their seasons are over.
Right.
But you got all the best players
from the non-playoff
from
teams.
From the non-playoff
Who
teams. Some of them just opt to say like, no, I don't want to do that. Some of them are hurt, and then you got guys that play into the Stanley Cup playoffs, like they're just not available. Right. So it's it's just not the same.
A couple other interesting tidbits from the Gary Bettman presser today.
Lots of them.
From Toronto. They of course was asked about the 4 current NHL players from the 2018 Team Canada sexual assault case that we touched on yesterday. Short of it, Bettman says the NHL will wait until the judicial process is completed before taking any action.
Makes sense.
But he did say that he would be surprised if any of them were playing in the NHL while the judicial system was playing out. So,
which, yes, duh. And also, isn't he the one that would make that decision?
Right. Well, maybe. I don't know.
So why would he be surprised?
I mean, it's going to take another 2 years. I'm kind of hoping there's another commissioner in there by the time that play. What happens first, this trial or Gary Bettman finally retires?
I don't know.
Both of those couldn't happen soon enough.
Yeah, no. It would be fucking wild if any of those guys.
I can't imagine any team.
Yeah, what team is going to take
that hit? And let's be honest. For 4 guys who are kind of like mid, like. If it's a player that has like franchise ability,
I think even still,
you could see a team
to do that,
rolling the dice a little bit. I could see it. I'm not saying it would, but like if it was a guy that had like McDavid-like talent.
If you had Connor McDavid facing 14 years in prison, like with an upcoming trial. I still don't think you would get a team.
I don't know.
I would like to believe the NHL could.
I would like to believe that too, but
I don't think you would get a team to be like, "Hey, we're going to bring in McDavid and see if we can get something out of him in these 2 years before he goes to prison potentially." Like, I don't know. I would really like to believe. I
would like to believe there isn't, but again, I don't put anything past any kind of pro sports team because a lot of them don't have. Most of them don't have much of a conscience.
Sure.
Winning takes over everything. We've seen it time and time again. But yeah.
Well, and Bettman made the point in his press conference too on that subject, basically saying all of these guys are only under contract through this season. So to play, like they've all been given indefinite leave from their team and everything, what have you, likely forever. But all their contracts expire in the summer. So a team would have to give them a brand new it's not like a guy like Carter Hart was on like a 4-year deal or anything like that. Like you would have to this summer give that player who's been charged with all these things, who's going to be facing a potential trial and everything. You would have to go to him in the summer and say, we're going to give you a contract for next year. Like, come on.
No, I don't see that. Not an NHL team. It'd be interesting if they're going to be allowed to travel to Europe and play professionally in Europe. I know they weren't.
I don't think that they
surrendering their passports was not part of this deal because they're not considered flight risks. But I would imagine, like, hey, I'm gonna go play in Russia. I swear I'll be back. Like, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
We'll see.
And the other bit of news, this one affects the Blackhawks, not on the ice, but per Frank Nazar, Bettman reveals that Cory Perry has a grievance pending but not filed against the Blackhawks because he said Perry feels they did not have proper grounds to terminate his contract. Go away, Cory Perry. And then Elliot Friedman expanded out, saying the NHL and NHLPA agreed to extend the deadline for Cory Perry to file a grievance against his contract termination from Chicago. Previous deadline was this past week. League supports Chicago's decision. Bill Daly indicated union wants to appeal. I say shit or get off the pot. You've had 60 days. Too bad. Deal with it. You've got another contract. You're playing in Edmonton. Piss off, Cory Perry. I'm so happy I could say that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he gets the extension. It's been over 70 days.
You've had this happened before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
it's almost Valentine's Day. File your grievance or go away.
Yeah, I really don't know why the extension was given, especially for the fact that like he came back and got a contract from another team. Like, sure, you're playing now for league minimum when you did have a $4 million contract. Sure, you may believe that you're entitled to that money on that contract, but also what we learned from the whole process of everything was that those contracts, they have different clauses that give teams the out if there's conduct that's
each team has their own standards.
Yeah, and that is where the Blackhawks stood on terminating Perry's contract. So yeah, I mean, for the fact that Gary Bettman said that he didn't have a problem personally with how the Blackhawks handled everything, I don't think anyone really does, and other than maybe Cory Perry. But we'll see how it plays out. So he's basically getting like 120 days to make this decision apparently, but hopefully whatever happens, it can be as least messy as possible, and can just move on from this situation, which I think we all thought we probably had gotten to that point.
As Cricket points out, and she's correct, I'm not sure Perry wants to file it. Seems like the union wants to file it. That may be true. The union is trying to do their job.
If Perry didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but
because you need the player to agree to move forward.
But the union is going to do what the union does, and like make sure that like a precedent isn't set and get language out there that you just can't terminate for whatever reasons. But again, if they're never going to tell us exactly what happened, then these things kind of fall on deaf ears because nobody really knows.
If he does file a grievance, I think we will learn the details, or other people will learn them. I don't know if they'll become public, but
just don't tell John Scott.
More people, more people will definitely find out about what exactly happened.
And Brian's asking Julien Gauthier on waivers, should they pick him up? Yeah or nay? No. No. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Julien Gauthier.
Is he the really big one?
Yes. He's on the Islanders this year. 5 goals, 9 points in 27 games. Yes, he's the 6'4" right winger. 19 goals, 41 points in 180 career games.
When I Google Julien Gauthier, the first thing that pops up is bear attack.
He got attacked by a bear?
Musician mauled to death by bear in Canadian wilderness. 2019, composer and musician Julien Gauthier dragged from his tent and mauled to death by a bear.
Whew. What's worse, that or having to play for Patrick Waugh in New York? R.I.P. Julien Gauthier. First attacked by bear, now waved by...
It appears Julien Gauthier's analytics don't fit.
We don't like analytics.
No, they don't.
Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm cool passing on that.
180 NHL games.
Yeah,
He's had a lot of stops.
He has.
Carolina,
probably because he's not a good hockey player.
Rangers, Ottawa, New York, Islanders. I'm good. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm good. All right. Well, we've got a lot of other stuff to get to, including
All-Stars.
Yes, we got All-Star. The draft was last night.
We got some
crap. We got
mushrooms.
Coaches getting fired.
We got some mushrooms to do before
trades.
We're doing them, huh?
We've got so much to talk about, including one of our brand new partners, our good friends over at CD1 Price Cleaners, where customers can save over 30% on their dry cleaning bill just by taking all their business to CD1 Price Cleaners. Their simple, transparent service is what puts them over the top. Other cleaners charge a different price for every garment type. Plus, they have upcharges, and you may pay a different price every time you visit. At CD1 Price Cleaners, they charge just, guess what, one price for every garment.
Oh, wow.
Yep, even your favorite sports jerseys. The same low price. That's why it's in the name. One price. So clever. Plus, they got their fast turnaround. CD1 Price Cleaners has your order ready as quick as the same day or the very next day. Other cleaners may take 2 or 4 days to have your clean garments ready. Plus, CD1 Price Cleaners is going to send you a text as soon as it's ready so you can get it as quickly as possible. They offer a wide variety of services, including dry cleaning, wash and fold laundry, blankets and comforters, tailoring and alterations, leather cleaning, and area rug cleaning. So visit chgo.cdone1.com. Once there, you can pick from an in-store coupon or online pickup and delivery coupon options. There's tons of locations in the Chicagoland area. So once again, that's chgo.cd1.com for more information.
Yes, and while you're waiting to pick up your dry cleaning, you can probably look around your home and say, man, these floors are shoddy. I need to get new floors. Well, you should definitely turn to our friends at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get to shop at home with that nice convenience. You can get the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and all do it at a very low price. That is the guarantee from Empire Today. They have the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they do have copycats, but Empire cannot be beaten on quality, service, and speed. So competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire refuses to carry. They say, get those low-quality products out of my face and out of my office.
Yes.
Empire will not promise the lowest prices because anyone who does is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. They keep shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. They have the virtual floor designer, which is awesome. All you have to do is take a picture of the floors in the space that you want to get new floors in, and then you can see how those new floors might look in that picture and give you a little template for how they might look in the room. And they pride themselves on convenient shop-at-home service. Empire helps customers shop for floors where they use their floors so they can see exactly what their new floors will look like in their home with lighting and decor so they can make the most informed decision. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off on a discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions do apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for more details.
All righty. Chicagoland Legends, Empire. We love them.
Empire.
All right. Well,
Today.
Other news today, the Los Angeles Kings have fired head coach Todd McClellan, who is going to
He's gone.
make his trip through the Pacific Division.
Yeah.
I wonder if
He'll
who's
be
going to
back.
hire him next.
He'll be back, of course. It's the NHL after all.
Yeah, I mean, never really won much of anything outside of, he had good runs in San Jose.
He did.
Took him to the Western Conference Final. He lost to the Blackhawks. Was he still their coach when they made the Cup final?
That is a good question. I wouldn't know without looking it up. Todd McClellan.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. But anywho, they have replaced him with interim head coach Jim Hiller for the rest of the season. Hiller has bounced around. He's been an assistant with the Red Wings, the Islanders, so he's going to get a shot at this team.
No, he was coaching the Oilers.
Okay, so it wasn't. So this will be 3 teams now. He's Sharks, Oilers, Kings.
Oilers as a head coach, was an assistant coach with the Detroit Red Wings before that.
All right, so basically January killed him because the Kings have been one of the worst teams in the NHL since January.
Yeah,
This was a team that at one point was leading the Pacific Division standings, and they are now in the wild card spot and 15 points out of first place. They started the season 27-4.
Yeah, they were.
That's good.
They were on fire.
Really good. Since then, they've gone 3-8-4, including an 8-game losing streak. And to make things worse, they were going on their 8-game losing streak in the midst of the Edmonton Oilers' 15-game winning streak. So the Oilers went from being like 10 points behind the Kings to like 5 points ahead of them in like 2.5 weeks. It was pretty crazy. So Todd McClellan out, Jim Hiller in. See what the Kings do. I mean, that's a talented team.
Yeah.
A lot of young players. When you're dealing with young players, you get consistency issues.
Yeah. They're a team that's like they're built enough still to be contending and competitive, but also like I don't know, you're kind of getting a little old. Anze Kopitar's up there.
Drew Doughty's there.
Doughty's up there.
But you mixing guys like Quentin Byfield and hey, Alex Turcotte got his NHL first goal the other night. Tom McClellan's last game as a Kings coach was a win.
It was
against the.
But I mean, I think that just kind of shows you like.
Well, they were just waiting.
It was You were waiting for the break.
Dead man
to do
walking.
It. Yeah.
He's the 6th head coach to get fired, 7th if you include Mike Babcock.
Just this season?
Since the season, he is the 6th head coach, joining the Oilers, Wild, Blues, and Islanders.
Is Luke Richardson next?
I don't know. Let's check those betting apps. See what they say.
He's not. For those that aren't paying attention,
the Kings didn't wait for him to lose to the Blackhawks to fire him.
Yeah, so, that's true. Yeah, I mean the Kings. I mean they got Kevin Fiala locked up. They got Philip Deneau locked up. Adrian Kempe's there for a few years. Trevor Moore's there for a few years.
And they're stuck with Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I was getting there.
8 more years.
8 more seasons.
McClellan's like, you give me this bum for 8 years and I lose my job? When's Rock Blake getting fired?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've definitely locked up a number of guys. They got some important guys that are going to need new contracts, like Byfield. And Galiev, but he wants out. He has made it public he wants out. Jordan Spence needs a new contract, and your goaltending situation is not great.
Well, who would have thought a guy riding Cam Talbot's wheels to death, a team would would fall apart? Like, also, I know he's an all-star.
You rode into the season with Cam Talbot and Phoenix Copley. So the fact that they were doing so well is
bro, who would have thought that Cam Talbot would have came crashing back to earth? Career backup Cam Talbot.
Right.
I know he's an all-star this year, but
somebody had to be.
Yeah, so is Gorgiev, who's just playing, who's not great, but playing on a really good
But he has
team.
the most wins.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'd have a lot of wins playing in front of that.
You have a sub-900 save percentage. That's wins is a team stat right there. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Kings, what they do. If the head coach firing bump benefits them and they go back in the
works so well for
in the right direction. Yeah. Well, it's not always the easy fix to get rid of the coach, but we'll see what happens with them. Let's see. You mentioned Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Yeah,
he has forever been connected to the Montreal Canadiens. but he's never played there. You know who's no longer playing with the Montreal Canadiens? That's Sean Monahan.
I know who he's playing for now. His former team in the Winnipeg Jets.
Winnipeg Jets.
Oh boy. The Winnipeg Jets acquired Sean Monahan, Mr. Excitement himself, from the. I still love the boring Sean Monahan Twitter account.
It's a good one.
It's a good. I always think like that's actually Sean Monahan, so that's why I call him Mr. Excitement.
He's in on the bit.
The Montreal Canadiens are going to get the Winnipeg Jets' first-round draft pick in this year's draft.
Which will be a late pick.
You would think, yes. And a third-round pick, conditional third-round pick in 2027. So the Canadiens have somehow turned Sean Monahan into 2 first-round picks, because you have to remember when they acquired him from Calgary in 2022, Calgary sent a first-round pick for them to take on the entire contract. So they have gotten 2 first-round picks for Sean Monahan. That's good GMing.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I don't know if I'd give up a first-rounder for Sean Monahan, but that is what happens when you are dealing with rentals. You overpay. The Jets like their chances. I like the Jets' chances. We'll see what's... what happens there. Monahan, now that Monahan and Lindholm are off the trade market in consecutive days, man, the trade deadline is just going to be a whole bag of nothing.
Yeah, that's not going to be exciting.
But I like the fact that you got Vancouver and Winnipeg going out and getting these guys well before the deadline. If you're going to pay a big price for these guys, why wait till March?
Why wait till someone else
get another
scoops
month?
Them up? Yeah.
Get a month out of it. Pay a little extra to get another 10, 12 games out of this guy that you obviously think is the missing piece to your team.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monahan, he is a lot of meh. He's had some good seasons, mostly younger in his career. He's got 3 seasons of over 30 goals. His best season came in 2018, 2019 when he had 34 goals and 82 points for the Flames. That was 5 years ago. Since then, 22 and 48, 10 and 28 in the weird shortened COVID year, and then just 8 goals and 23 points in 65 games.
He's dealt with injuries.
Yeah. Only 25 games last year, had 17 points. That's not bad. This year, 13 goals, 35 points in 49 games. So you're getting a guy who's good at special teams. He specializes as the bumper role on the power play. Let's see here. He's got 6 of his 13 goals have come on the power play. He's got 10 power play assists. So that means 16 of his 35 points have come on the power play, nearly half.
Just about half, yeah.
So that's what you're getting. 5-on-5, he's kind of but on a team like the Jets, who are pretty deep at 5-on-5, he might be a good fit there. Jets are going for it. Yep. Canucks are going for it. The Western Conference is wide open this year.
Yeah, the Western Conference playoffs are going to be a meat grinder, which is going to be a lot of fun.
And the same could be said for the East, because there's a lot of good teams there.
Yeah, but I think with the way, like you said, Vancouver's going for it. Winnipeg's obviously making some moves to continue their stretch of play this season. Edmonton is the hottest team in the league right now.
Yep.
So the Canadian Western Conference teams are getting pretty exciting that are in the playoff spots.
There might be a Canadian team in the final this year in the West.
You might have one.
And out of those 3 teams, I give the Jets the nod because they've got the best goaltender.
Yeah. And then, in the West, you still got Dallas and Colorado playing really well.
Don't count out Vegas.
He's the defending Cup champs. So, I would not be surprised if the West produces the Stanley Cup winner. They have a lot of really good teams that are there.
They've produced the last 2.
Yeah.
So why not again? The East has a lot of good teams, but those teams beat up on each other, or
I think, the East feels like there's a chance that the top contender in the East gets knocked out in the first 2 rounds because of how the playoffs are formulated. But in the West, it feels like by the time you get to the second round, still you're going to have at least 1 or 2 legit contenders, whereas the East, it could you might be down to like, oh, here's some underdogs.
Yeah, you're right. Did you just predict a second straight Boston Bruins first round exit?
You know, if there's
someone
put
that on the record, or
if there's someone in this in this room right now that is known to call the Boston Bruins frauds, it would be me.
Oh, I can't wait for the playoffs. They're going to be it's
going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, this stretch just to figure out who's in the playoffs is going to be amazing because just look at those standings. Within the divisions, they're super close. The wild card races are super close. You've got a team like the New Jersey Devils, who have been one of the biggest disappointments this season. But again, they've had health issues.
Sure, you don't have Jack Hughes.
No, Jack Hughes has been injured for extended period of times twice this season. That's a team I predicted to go to the Stanley Cup final. Right now, they're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you get Jack Hughes back here after the break, and if he does what Jack Hughes does, I mean, they can make things interesting. You know, we know when Patrick Kane returns to the Red Wings, they're going to start losing again because that's what they do with Patrick Kane. So you may see a fluctuation there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Did we miss anything else before we get to the All-Star game stuff?
No, I don't believe so. We got the Olympics, 4 nations, the trade, the firing, Cory Perry. I think that's about it. Has anything else happened
since we got on the air?
Since we started? Do we want to talk about Arizona's arena, or do we want to leave that to our PHNX fans?
Do you want to hit the super chat first?
Sure.
Super chat from Thomas says last year the Jets coach said he couldn't motivate those guys after the Dubois trade. They are number 2. Coincidence? Sounds like he is a cancer. You sound correct.
And look what's happening to the Kings. And
the Kings the Kings got they had to fire their coach. Since he got there, and they've been they've been free falling. You got Drew Doughty essentially calling Dubois out without naming him.
Next time he's going to name him, it's going to be delicious.
Sure. I can't wait.
I think you've hit it right on the head there. They got rid of Dubois and they got rid of Blake Wheeler, former captain.
Yeah.
Blake Wheeler's landed with the Rangers. Rangers seem to be doing okay with Blake Wheeler.
From what I can tell,
they're still up in the standings. So yeah, I think we know who the problem was there. Now, how a guy like that can take down an entire team, I don't know, but he's a good player, but he's not nearly as good as he thinks he is. That's the problem. And,
Blake Wheeler, 20 points in 49 games. But, I mean...
He's playing
he's
further down
he's
in
not
the
top
lineup.
line Blake Wheeler anymore.
No, he's in late 30s Blake Wheeler, but he's producing. Was he the one that had that ridiculous play?
Yes.
Where he just, like...
He was the beneficiary of the Zibanejad pass.
Yes.
It was like... I gotta go back and find the highlight.
And he had the great facial expression after that play.
His just jaw dropped.
Yeah,
that was great. He is 37 years old.
He's been around for a while, man. I mean, was he?
He was with the Atlanta Thrashers.
Yes, that's how long he has been an Atlanta Thrasher, and I believe. Was he not on the 2013 Bruins team that lost to the Blackhawks?
I don't believe so.
He was a former Bruin.
I think he was a Bruins draft pick.
Okay, he was already gone by then. Yeah, I think he was already on Atlanta.
Let's see.
Yeah, if he was a Thrasher, he wouldn't have been on that team.
He was a Bruins draft pick. 5th overall in I'm sorry. He was a Phoenix Coyotes draft pick.
Wow.
5th overall in 2004. And then, I believe, he never played for the Phoenix Coyotes.
I don't think that.
So
I think
he
that is correct.
Signed as a free agent with the Boston Bruins after letting his draft rights expire. So, played 4 seasons at Minnesota. What a jerk. So then signed with Boston and then was traded to the Thrashers in February of 2011 for Mark Stewart. And it was, traded to Boston with Mark Stewart for Rich Peverley and Boris Valabiak.
Okay, cool.
Sure. And then signed as a free agent. And then was with Atlanta when they became Winnipeg.
Right.
And was with them forever.
All right. And Thomas follows up a super chat with another $1.99. Get Dubois to St. Louis. I'm for it.
Yes, absolutely.
Let him play for every Central team except the Blackhawks
Sure.
over the next decade. But problem is, he's not going anywhere for a long time because the Kings have him and the rest of the league is laughing at him for the 8-year contract they gave him.
And is it a no move on Dubois?
I don't know. That'd be even stupider, but
doesn't look like it.
Well,
not this year.
I mean, you don't need to give him a no
Yeah.
move because there's a lot of teams that are like, no, I don't want that.
No movement clause kicks in July 1st of this summer.
Have fun with that. That's the type of
Full no move clause next year through the 27-28 season, and then modified 15-team no trade list in 28-29, and then a 10-team no trade list in 29-30 and 30-31. Those years don't exist. Those are not real years.
right. The Yellowstone volcano is gonna blow by then, and it won't matter.
Take us all. Yeah. Well, Jesus. All right. I don't want to go down that road.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, we should have a totally organic conversation about.
You know what would help?
electricity.
You know that volcano
We'll
not
delay that
take us
volcano.
all.
Yes.
Is
more
if we
electric
all
vehicles,
switch
right?
to electric vehicles.
That is
Yes. How easy is it to switch to electric vehicles? You may ask. Very easy. Thanks to ComEd, it is getting easier for businesses to switch to those electric vehicles. And as we said before, that is something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
You said it. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence toward an electric tomorrow, which I believe is what Dead & Company is calling their run at the Sphere in Vegas.
Nice.
Whether you have one delivery van or an entire fleet of shipping trucks like Pierre-Luc Dubois, he needs them for every time he moves.
When you move cross-country so often.
Exactly. ComEd can help you make the changes that make the most sense.
Well, what should Pierre-Luc Dubois and other people who move around a lot do?
Well, first, stop being a pudwhack. Second, go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet. It's good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
ComEd.com/clean?
That is correct.
Yes.
Go now and see how electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
And hey, if you're looking to get an electric fleet of trucks, why not fill it with the best? I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong direction. Hey, you know what's great about saving money with electric vehicles and saving the planet? It means more events can happen, and that means more events you can go to and buy tickets to. You can do that with our friends at GameTime. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of the sports, music, comedy, and theater events happening nearest to you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and GameTime's best price guarantee, they take the guesswork out of buying tickets. I love the views from your seat function on Game Time. It allows you to see, if you're going to a venue you haven't been to before, or maybe you've been to the United Center before for a hockey game or a basketball game, but you haven't been there for a concert or one of those big time comedy shows, and you don't know what the view from your seat is going to be like. You can go to Game Time. You can pick the seat and you can see what it's going to look like. You can see where the stage is going to be set up, see where your perspective is going to be, and make sure that you're getting the best price to get the best view of the event that you're going to. I love that. And I love that Game Time does the all-in ticket pricing, so you know exactly how much each ticket is going to cost with everything included. You're not going to get to check out and be surprised when there's an extra $50 fee on your ticket and be like, hey, I thought it was way cheaper. Nope. With Game Time, you're going to know exactly how much you're going to need to pay right away. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CHGO for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO, that is CHGO, and you're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
All right. Was that CHGO?
Yeah, it's CHGO.
Thanks for spelling it
out. It is super hard to remember, so that is why I always wear my CHGO shirt, as you see here, so I can always just look down and spell it out.
Hey, I got one of those on my shirt.
You got one too. You know where else you can get those? At the CHGO locker. You can go to allchgo.com and check out our merch. Go to chgolocker.com. Check out all these great shirts that we have, all the great hats that we have, all that stuff, and get yourself decked out in some of the best CHGO merch that money can buy. And while you're there, become a diehard and save 20% on all that merch. Yes. Save 20% on our events, our takeovers, our tailgates, and all that, and get access to all the awesome content that we create and make accessible to only diehards, including the Rebuild Report that Greg and I co-author, the Blackhawks Beat from Jay, and you get access to our diehard-only Discord channel as well, which, pending technical difficulties, Greg and I will be jumping into after the show. We'll do a little CHGO Blackhawks overtime period with our diehards. So we'll chat. We'll get ready for the weekend. We can maybe chat a little bit more about the All-Star game coming up this weekend and have some fun. So become a diehard, get all that access, save some money, become a member of the CHGO sports community, and just be one of the cool kids.
That's right. Yeah. I don't get to be the cool kid very often. It's nice to finally do that in my mid-40s.
Nice change of pace.
Okay, yesterday we saw leaving here the
we were caught off guard by the 5 o'clock start time.
Yeah, which is weird, but
yeah,
I don't know. I guess it put the PWHL's showcase like in prime time, which I would rather have that in prime time than a bunch of guys going through the motions of doing something they don't want to do.
So frustrated by that. I think what happened was the draft the NHL wanted the draft to be on ESPN Airways. It was on ESPN2 in America. But the NHL All-Star draft was not going to push college basketball. So if you wanted it to be on ESPN, you had to do it on ESPN's time frame, and that was the time that you were able to do it. So yeah, it was a little early, 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. But what I did like is it was nice and tidy and wrapped up in 1 hour. Like it didn't drag on, like a lot of NHL events sometimes do. Especially around the All-Star events where it's like, here's 3 hours of awkward conversations and killing time. Like, no, it was nice and concise. The biggest problem I have with it is that it just didn't seem like it had the buy-in from the players completely. Like the last time that they had done drafts, maybe the
open bar helped.
The beverages helped. But I think, the guy, it was a lot of, they had the live mics, and those were not really useful for what I think the league was trying to do. You had some celebrities that were really into it. Michael Bublé, Will Arnett, Tate McRae. They all did really great. Justin Bieber, go fuck yourself. Like cool. Your jersey's got all the promo, all that stuff. Your brand is all over the place, and then you couldn't be fucking bothered to even just stand next to Austin Matthews and
he's too cool.
And Morgan Riley, your Maple Leafs best buddies. Like, too cool, just sitting in the back. Like, what a fucking dweeb. But beyond that, I think it's tough to pull teeth to get personality out of these guys. But what are you gonna do? I like that the NHL brought the draft back. That was good. Now, do it a little bit better. I liked the live crowd. That was fun.
Yeah.
But the guys skating on the ice was like it was kind of funny when we turned it on and they were like making the picks. I thought they were just like in the arena, like just on like the ice as like a stage. But then I don't know who got picked, but they like stood up and started skating over. I was like, oh shit, they're like on their skates. Like it was pretty funny. And then of course you saw, I don't know if you guys saw it, but on TikTok and Instagram, people were taking like wide shots of all the players on the benches on the ice, and they're all like swinging their legs with their skates like that.
Some of those guys,
that tickled me. So that was good. But I think the event was Meh.
I think the only.
But I like that it's back.
But they got to tweak it though. Like
Definitely.
Captains should only be allowed to pick one of their teammates because you basically have all the teammates together, which is lame. It's stupid. I want to see Maple Leaf versus Maple Leaf, Canuck versus Canuck. So let's go over these rosters real quick. You have Team Hughes, captained by Quinn Hughes and
Jack Hughes.
Coached by Rick Tocchet. He even has his own coach. Who's the celebrity captain for Hughes? Is that the
Hughes
Bublé?
team was
Michael
Bublé? Yeah,
the
Team China.
Maybe stoned Michael Bublé.
Yes.
So you have Quinn Hughes with Elias Pettersson, Canuck, Nikita Kucherov, Thatcher Demko, Canuck, Kyle Connor, Brady Tkachuk, sounds like a Canuck, but he's not. Jasper Brett, Cam Talbot, Brock Bosser, Canuck, JT Miller, Canuck, Frank Vetrano. That's Team Hughes.
Yeah.
And Team Matthews with
it's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes. Team Matthews, coached by Jim Montgomery, celebrity captain by Mario's favorite musician of all time, Justin Bieber. Here we go. Austin Matthews, Maple Leaf. Morgan Riley, Maple Leaf. William Nylander, Maple Leaf. Mitch Marner, Maple Leaf. You suck, Austin Matthews. You're a coward. Jake Ottinger, Clayton Keller, Matthew Barzal, Igor Shesterkin, Philip Forsberg, Alex DeBrincat, Vincent Trocheck.
I did like, though, that at least apparently behind the scenes there was supposed to be Quinn. The Hughes team was supposed to take Mitch Marner, and then Matthews was going to orchestrate a trade for them, but apparently it just didn't happen. I would hate to think that the NHL was behind the scenes being like, don't do any trades, don't do all this fun and interesting stuff. I would hate that, but that is something I believe could have happened.
Then we have Team McKinnon, coached by Rick Bowness and celebrity captain by the just adorably charming Tate McRae.
She was great.
At least into it.
Yeah.
And embracing it, so I give her credit for that.
Yeah.
So you have Nathan McKinnon with his Colorado teammate Cale Makar, his buddy, idol Sidney Crosby.
Yep. Who wasn't there. He was playing at an outdoor rink in Montana. Because of course he was.
Yeah, well, whatever. Crosby can do whatever he wants. Alexander Gorgiev, the Avalanche goaltender, joins his teammate. Kirill Kaprizov, Sebastian Aho, Tom Wilson, Jeremy Swayman, Travis Konechny, the now Vancouver Canuck, Elias Lindholm, and Oliver Bjorkstrand, the guy who'd much rather be on vacation right now. I love they showed a locker room picture of Bjorkstrand and his jersey's hanging up, and it's just wrinkled as all hell. Like you could tell he just balled it up in a fury. Like, I don't want to go to this
He begrudgingly packed his bags. Oh, yeah.
So
Team McKinnon,
Lindholm is the only guy not playing with the rest of his teammates, though technically they're not really his teammates yet.
Right,
He hasn't played with
future
them.
teammates, yeah. Team McKinnon, by the way, I saw this stat here. They have the most combined career goals, assists, and points among the four teams with a combined total of 5,061 points. Better than Team McDavid's 4,568.
And then Team McDavid with Peter Laviolette as the coach. It's Connor McDavid with Will Arnett. Of course, he picked Leon Draisaitl. And then he got Connor Hellebuyck, David Pastrnak, Rasmus Dahlin, Robert Thomas, Sam Reinhart, Sergei or Sam Bobrovsky. Apparently his name is Sam. Boone Jenner. Why is Boone Jenner there? Like, seriously. And
Somebody
Nick Suzuki and Thomas Hertl.
Yeah, when the best player in the world calls you Sam Bobrovsky, you are now Sam Bobrovsky.
Yes, you are Sam. So there we are. PG's asking, don't you have to draft your own teammate?
No.
We'll make quasi awkward conversation later. No, I wouldn't. But back when Nick Foligno was captain in Columbus, Patrick Kane was his assistant captain, drafting against Jonathan Toews. I think it would be fun to see. We got to see Kane versus Toews that year as opposed to them together. I think it would be fun to watch Connor McDavid take on Leon Draisaitl in a 3-on-3 game, or Austin Matthews versus Mitch Marner. That would be more exciting to me than just watching teammates play with each other on the ice.
Team Foligno had Kane and Keith, and that's it. Team Toews had obviously Jonathan Toews and Corey Crawford and Brent Seabrook.
Right, so Kane was left
So they were split apart. You had Kane and Keith on one team, Taze, Crawford, and Seabrook on the other. And no one had, I don't think those guys had any problems with each other afterwards.
No, they
were
seemed
fine.
to get along just fine.
They still won the Stanley Cup that year.
Team McDavid will face Team McKinnon in Game 1, and then Team Hughes will play Team Matthews in Game 2. The two winning teams will play each other in the third game to determine the winner.
Nice.
Obviously, I'm picking Team Hughes because with all those Maple Leafs on Team Matthews, there's no way they're getting out of the first round. Be guaranteed loss.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if I'm Austin Matthews, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't
want any Maple Leafs on my team.
I haven't won shit with any of you bozos. I'm not picking any of you. I'm going with all other guys to see what could have been if I would have just left.
Hey, that would have been a strategy. That would have been great. I would have loved to have seen like all the Maple Leafs just on all different teams.
Four of them, 4 teams, split them up.
Make the rule that you can't draft a teammate.
Right. Or just one. Just one.
Yeah.
That
would have been great.
Because then you would have thought the NHL would have wanted that. A Maple Leaf on every team.
Pretty sure.
Because then they would have guaranteed to sold all 4 jerseys as opposed to just one.
In Toronto, yeah. Pretty sure anytime they had the draft and the Sedins were both All-Stars, they were on opposite teams. I'm pretty sure every time that happened.
And then I didn't even know that was like physically possible. Like I thought like one of them would stop breathing if he was
conjoined. Yeah. So having all the teammates together is it's lame. It is whatever.
And if you have to, who's your pick to win the tournament? Or who do you think has the best?
The Piss team.
Going with the Piss team.
I got to ride with the Piss team.
They probably have the best roster, though. Too.
I think so. I think
McKinnon, Makar, Crosby, Kaprizov. That's pretty good. Travis Konecny on 3-on-3 won't be bad.
The only thing is they picked Alex Georgiev.
Yeah, well, they have Jeremy Swayman just waiting in the wings.
That's true. That's who I picked in my All-Star lineup.
Put Georgiev in for the first game, win that game 14-13, and then put Swayman in for the championship game and win 3-0.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I would love to see Team McDavid versus Team McKinnon. That's the first game. So I would say, they got the best 2 teams facing each other right off the bat.
It's tough.
I'm sure they're going to do some shenanigans to get Team Matthews into the final.
Sure,
but in typical Maple Leafs fashion, they're probably going to lose. They're going to lose in excruciating fashion. They're going to be up like 9-8 with like 45 seconds to go and lose 10-9.
2 goals, yeah.
To the worst guy on.
There will be one penalty called the entire weekend, and it'll be in favor of Team Matthews, I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah. And hey, if I think the All-Star game, it's the least interesting event of All-Star weekend. The skills competition tonight is going to be a lot of fun. 12 guys going to be involved in that. I like the new format, getting all those guys to do all the different events together rather than one guy only doing the fastest skater and one guy only doing the hardest shot and everything. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm trying to pull up who are the 12 that are in it. You would think that information would be easy to find. Here it is. I got it. So you have Connor McDavid, William Nylander, Quinn Hughes, Kyle Makar, Matthew Barzal, Elias Pettersson, Nathan McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, Nikita Kucherov, JT Miller, Austin Matthews, and David Pastrnak. Those are the 12 that are going to be competing. And then you're going to have the fastest skater, the one-timers, the passing challenge, the hardest shot, the stick handling event, and the accuracy shooting. And then those are going to be where all 12 guys are going to compete. And then there's a point system based on, how the guys do in those events. The top 8 in the point systems from the first events, they will then do the one-on-one challenge, which is where they will choose a goalie that they want to shoot against. That'll be a lot of fun.
Gorgiev's going to be tired.
And the goalies that are going to be there are obviously...
I, too, pick Gorgiev.
all the NHL All-Star goalies. So it's Swayman, Bobrovsky, Hellebuyck, Talbot, Gorgiev, Shesterkin, and Ottinger. And then, a little tidbit here, the goalie that makes the most saves, they're going to get $100,000. That's
nice.
Good
for them.
And then the top 6 point earners, after all those events, they will be in the final event, the obstacle course. Unfortunately,
some explosions.
Yeah, we don't know what the obstacle course will be, but I hope it is very most extreme elimination challenge.
There better be some explosions, some pits, something.
Yeah, so
Flying
that would
boulders.
That will be fun.
At the very least, a tennis ball cannon.
Yeah,
Like
American Gladiators. Yeah, hell yeah, you got to get that in.
Get Laser
in
and
there
Zap
somewhere.
out there to start nailing these guys.
Laser. Who's your pick? Who's your pick to win it?
If he cares, it's Connor McDavid. He's the most skilled player in the NHL. He's probably got the best to like cross over from. Like he's not just good at
skill
one thing.
To skill. Yeah,
he's probably the most complete player. I'd be surprised if it's not him.
I'm gonna go with Nathan McKinnon because I think he can give McDavid a run for his money in fastest skater, and I think he probably could have a harder shot than McDavid. But other than that, I think those two are probably one and two.
Guys.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if it's not one of those two guys.
Yeah,
but maybe future Blackhawk Leon Draisaitl surprises us.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, All-Stars competition is tonight at 6:00 Chicago time on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
The All-Star game starts Saturday at 2 p.m. Chicago time on ABC. So that's how you do it. So that is all the information, I think, today.
Don't forget, AHL All-Star Weekend is Sunday and Monday. The game is on Monday. The AHL Skills Challenge is on Sunday. Ice Hogs defenseman Ethan Del Mastro is the representative there. Good for Ethan. I don't know what event he'll be in.
I don't know. I saw it and I forgot it. The AHL's, I believe, is going to be on the NHL Network.
It usually is.
Game
or AHL TV.
Their tournament is different. Every division plays every division in a round robin. They play like 7-minute games. Mm-hmm. So every team plays, every division plays every division. So each division has 3 games before they decide their championship. So it's slightly different. It should be fun. And yeah, I'll be watching the skills competition tonight. I don't know if I'm going to watch much of the game, but
I usually skip the games.
Yeah, the skills competition will be fun.
Unless I'm free and I have the remote in my house, which is very rare.
Right.
Then I'll probably throw it on.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up another ridiculously packed episode.
Oh. Also,
not yet.
Sign of proof of life. Connor Bedard, is in Toronto. He accepted the IIHF Male Player of the Year award today alongside former Illinois resident Hillary Knight. So that was fun. He got that award. I know tomorrow he's supposed to be at Maple Leaf Square with Sherwood Hockey. And he was hobnobbing with some of the players here at the All-Star game. The Blackhawks put out a video of McDavid and Marner talking with Bedard.
Hey, that's
your 2026 Canada top line.
That's your Chicago Blackhawks top line in 2027.
You heard it here first.
I mean, those are the first 3 guys touching the next Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup.
That would be nice.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so Bedard is there in Toronto and is hanging out with the guys.
And quickly before we sign off, I just want to say R.I.P. Carl Weathers, who passed away today.
Sad.
Big part of my childhood being Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. Awesome in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Gave us that great handshake meme. That is Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Happy Gilmore.
Greased up biceps.
Yes. So R.I.P. Carl Weathers. Great actor. And by all accounts,
he was in so
great
much
human
stuff.
being. Yes. Yeah. Great stuff. So condolences out to the Weathers family. And that is going to wrap up a very busy off week here at CHGO Blackhawks. Thanks for tuning in all week. Make sure you're smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, become a diehard, get all the perks.
We're going to hop in the Discord after the show.
Yep. And just a quick reminder, we'll be back. Jay will be back on Monday. Will there actually be a Blackhawks practice on Monday and Tuesday? Post-game shows are back on Wednesday.
We're back.
And the CHGO Blackhawks podcast is powered by ComEd. It is getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more. Head over to comed.com/clean. Enjoy the All-Star weekend, and we'll be back 3 o'clock on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.